Hello, this is Dr. Martina, your online sex therapist and sex educator. Sex problems have what we call distal and proximal causes. Distal causes refer to something that happens in the past, like sexually suppressed upbringing, and proximal causes is something that is more current. And this is what brings me to the topic of this week, because the biggest proximal cause of sex problems is anxiety. Anxiety affects everything we do with our bodies, and therefore having sex is not spared. The reason for that is because we live in a society that looks at sex as a performance, like we do as many other things we do. And when you're thinking of a performance, you think of how can I do it better? And when you run into a sexual problem, you think something's missing. So you want to reach for just a band-aid and say, okay, let's add something because something's missing, because this problem is here. So we're going to add some porn, we're going to add some role play, we're going to add some threesome. Now these are wonderful, all exciting things to do, but not if you want to and really need to remove anxiety. So before I'm going to tell you how you can remove and work on and practice, because it's not an easy task to remove anxiety, I want to teach you where anxiety really comes from. The body's nervous system allows all of the parts of the body to communicate with each other. At its most basic level, the nervous system includes the brain and spinal cord. This is called the central nervous system. In addition to the central nervous system, we have the peripheral nervous system, which includes all the nerves that go from the spinal cord to the rest of the limbs and organs. The peripheral nervous system has also two parts, the skeletal nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. The skeletal nervous system provides nerves to limbs like your arms and legs. We also call it the voluntary nervous system because your ability to activate these nerves move your limbs is under your control. The autonomic nervous system provides nerves to your internal organs, such as your heart, diaphragm, intestines, stomach, and genitals. We generally do not have much control, if any, over the response of these organs. Their activities are largely reflexive. The presence of food in the stomach, for example, triggers a series of reflexes that cause digestion. We can't make it stop or cause it to happen any faster. The same thing is true for the genitals. A touch on the penis can trigger a reflexive erection, or a touch to the opening of the vagina can trigger reflexive vaginal lubrication. That is why we call it the involuntary nerve system. If we break it down further, we learn that the autonomic nervous system has two divisions, the sympathetic nervous system, the SNS, and the parasympathetic nervous system, the PNS. The function of the SNS is to expand energy rapidly. It is responsible for initiating the stress response, also known as the fight or flight mechanism. The SNS functions when you're faced with a major threat to your safety, so it's a good thing. When your SNS is activated, which happens within a split second, your eyes dilate, your heart pounds, and blood rushes away from the center of your body towards your limbs so you can fight or run away. In other words, the blood rushes away from your genitals. The action of the PNS is the opposite. Its function is to conserve energy for use at a later time. The PNS is active when you're asleep, digesting, or just resting. Many sexual phenomena are functions of the PNS. For example, the early stages of erection and arousal occur when the PNS is active. The activity of the PNS is also called the relaxation response, hence the morning erection, or the fact that we have energy for sex in the morning, energy and desire. Anxiety occurs when something happens that really doesn't threaten your life, but still your body overreacts to it with full fight or flight nervous system activity. Physical signs of anxiety include cold hands and feet, tense muscles, especially in the thighs and abdomen, rapid and shallow breathing, rapid heart rate, and a feeling of nausea or nervous stomach. Because of the way the autonomic nervous system is organized, you cannot be relaxed and anxious at the same time, and this is something to really take to heart. You gain control of your anxiety by consciously promoting relaxation. One way to reduce anxiety is through repetitive, slow, non-threatening touching. Another way is through deep, slow, rhythmic breathing. If you are gradually taught to respond in a relaxed way to a previously anxiety-producing stimulus, relaxation will carry over to other anxiety-reproducing situations in your life. I know the physiology of anxiety can be a bit dry and technical, but I really think it's important for you to know where anxiety comes from. Because if you want to remove anxiety, maybe bring it down and then ultimately completely remove anxiety during a sexual encounter, it really helps when you know where it comes from. And the exercises that I will teach you will then make sense. And it will not throw you into exercises that can cause even more anxiety. So, next week, that's what we're going to do. And in the meantime, get familiar with your rest and digest and fight or flight nerve system and become aware of it. And I will talk to you next week.